screens. All right. All right. So welcome. Who's here? Just give me a shout out. Say hello. Happy Friday. I have a little like eye infection, so I'm like minimal eye makeup today, but I can see you because I have my glasses on. Welcome. So anyone guess? I'm looking at the chat here. If you know where I am like this, tell me in the chat if you know where I am. I am at the Charles. This is Head of the Charles, you guys. I was at the Head of the Charles. I think I was rowing this year I came. I think this was this, I don't even know when this was, but my guess is it was around 2018 because they didn't have the Charles last year. It definitely didn't go this year. It's the largest regatta in the world. 5,000 boats race down this river. That's a windy course. And it's 3 miles long, I think, right? Is that what a head race is? Someone remind me, if maybe you have no idea what I'm talking about. You're like, what's a head race? So here's these boats. And these boats go down the river, and that's a long, windy river, and it's a 3-mile race. And the Charles, like, there you go. Hey, that's wow, what boat is that? I took the picture myself over the bridge as I was watching, and I know that club, Riverside, I think. Anyway, I'm getting all excited about my rowing here. How are you? What's your name a feeling? Being present in our bodies, it's so good to just name a feeling. How are you doing this Friday? I wanted to come on today and revisit, like a blast from the past, the 5 signs you know you need a pause. So a lot of times I hear from you, I could really use a pause now, right? And who's on that train? Like, who needs a pause today? Maybe you're here to take out a timeout for yourself, just to kind of have a state change or something different. So I know I need a pause all the time, but do I take it? No. And I wrote a book called Pause, people. So there you go. It's like we can't, we basically, it's so hard as a achiever, a type A person, maybe someone who's got their schedule filled, to pause, because it goes against almost everything we've ever been trained to do or know. Yeah. And I'll use this analogy here for the rowers. So get out of the way. So, okay. I'm going to use it as a teaching tool. So see how these guys in the boat right in front of me, they kind of like have the blade and the oar at their in towards their belly, like this, right? So that's called the release, where your oar comes out of the water and you're literally pausing. Like you're not stressing and doing any exertion whatsoever. You're balancing the boat, you're breathing, you're using your hands to like level the boat if it's rocking to one side or another. It's called the release. And then you slowly travel up the slide of the seat, and you dip your oar in and you crank, hopefully, right? Or you row and paddle. And so we need to have we need to have both of these things here, because otherwise, if we just were doing and pulling and working as hard as we possibly can during the release. Actually, this is the finish. What am I talking about? This is the finish. You can tell I'm not rowing right now. and so this is a critical part of the stroke, because if you don't release and if you don't finish and relax and breathe and do what you need to do here and recover, it's called the recovery. When you go up the slide, by the way, you will not be powerful. You will not do what you need to do as you take your stroke. That makes sense, right? So there's a service to the doing, so to speak. We have to have the service to the doing, and that's the pause. That's the pause in the boat. And so when do you know you need that in life? All right, thank you for being with me in my rowing anecdotes. How do you know you need a pause? Well, these are the 5 signs, and I would love you to comment as you hear them, like which ones do you relate to? And these 5 signs, they're in the book Pause. They all happened to me when I burned out. And did I do anything? Did I change anything? No, because I ignored the signs. I didn't know they were signs, I guess, at the time. But looking back, I'm like, holy cow, these are the 5 signs. You know you need a pause. And here we are in the Pause to Thrive Sisterhood, if you're watching there, or if you're even on my Facebook page. I went live today, so hello. I know I've been just kind of getting everyone on board to be fans, so thank you for being a fan. And if you're catching me, let me know you're here. I love to know who's here. And so the 5 signs, and guess if you have any thoughts about this, I want to hear that too. If you're in the chat, what are the 5 signs that you have that you know you need a pause? So the first sign is you used to love your job and now you loathe it. All right. And loathing's a loaded term, literally. So just think about it like you used to be excited. You used to want to go to work. You got fulfillment out of what you did. And so something's different now, right? So that's the thing. Like you're like, I'm not a big fan anymore. Like what's going on? And maybe you're just in the, well, there's all ranges of this, but that's the first one. I'm just going to go through these. So that's number 1. Put a 1 in the chat if that's you. If you're brave and courageous, curiously courageous to be like, yeah, I have a little bit of that. And remember, like, I so honor wherever you are, because that's okay, right? We just need to know where we are so we can go forward like these folks down the Charles and feel like they had an amazing race, right? Like you are living the life and thriving and you're ready, right? So that's the first one. You used to love your job, now you loathe it. The second one is that you've got basically information or data from your manager or some other person that you work with that what did I used to say? Yeah, so that it's not working out. Okay, so that might be literally having a chat and being like, maybe you should consider doing something else. That's what happened to me when my manager, who had the best intentions for me, I'm sure, and I know that because I used to hear that all the time, but I didn't understand it, wanted me to succeed, but she was like, Rachel, you're not cutting it. Like what's going on? So you have that insight from your manager. So give me a 2 if you have that going on. Okay. And it might just be like, we've all been through performance reviews, right? So maybe there's a performance review thought about that where you're like, man, like, what is she trying to tell me? Or what is he trying to tell me? Maybe that's a heart-to-heart conversation that you've already had. And if you've been in a job for years or even a couple of months, it could be any length of time, but it's like this like, what do I call it? Like, I guess it is a gut clench of like, yeah, like maybe this isn't working, but someone is validating it for you. Someone is sharing that. Okay. So give me a 2 if it's that. Number 3, the third sign you need a pause. And a pause, by the way, I need to remind everybody this, it's important. It's an intentional shift in behavior. Okay. It's an intentional shift in behavior. It's a recovery, like these guys, right? It's like the finish. It doesn't mean you are taking a long break. It doesn't mean you travel around the world for a year. It doesn't mean you stay at home for COVID for another year. Like but it's intentional. And so it could be that, but it could be something different. Okay. So it's whatever works for you. It could be a daily pause. It could be this talk you're listening to, me talking. I guess this isn't really a talk. This is me talking. La, 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 la. So third is you have a technology intervention. And this could be something that you intervene on for yourself. Maybe you're kind of over, why am I on my Facebook screen at 6 a.m.? I've been there. Why am I not able to take a night out of Netflix? Like not do that. I've been there, right? So this is important. So just notice that one. Like you have a technology intervention. It could be you, or in my case, I talk about my friend Kathleen. Hello, Kathleen, if you're out there, who literally driving over the San Francisco Bridge to Sonoma, as I took a weekend with her, literally asked me if I'm ever not on my laptop. I think was something like that. Like, why are you always on your laptop or on your phone? And I kind of took a glance and was like, and I was driving at the time. And I think I did something like, and this is in the book, like documented. I think I just said, what? Like, I didn't even know. I didn't even get that I was on my phone or my laptop. I just thought that was the norm. And it kind of is at this point, I think, but either way, it kind of made me think about, well, why am I on my devices all the time? All right, so that's the third one. And that I call it a digital device pause, meaning you got to change it up for your devices to get out of that dopamine rush that just hooks us in and keeps us hooked. Yeah. All right, so that's number 3. So type in a number 3 if you need a technology intervention. I don't know anyone who doesn't need one, by the way. Like we'd all need that. And that's, again, you could be the intervener, or someone else that you know is like, hey, I notice you're always on the phone at meal times. Like, could you please just not do that? Okay, that's a big one. Number 4 is that there is a challenge happening. Like, you feel challenged about something. There's a struggle or a challenge. This could be across the board. This could be health related. This could be work related, meaning I don't know how I'm going to get to this next stage of my career. I don't know what to do next. That kind of thing. Indecisiveness. It could be COVID. Anyone know that? Yeah, like all of that. It could be homeschooling kids. It could be like, what do I do what do I do going outside if people are vaccinated or not? Like, that totally qualifies. So that's a challenge. Give me a 4 if you feel like there is a specific challenge in your mind right now. Like, and maybe the challenge is not having time for yourself, and I'm sick of it. Okay, number 5. All right, so put the 4s in the chat. And even if you're listening on the replay, I'd love you to do this, because this is you acknowledging where you're at, and you are so held here. Like, I want you to know that this is just, every time you acknowledge your truth, it's a validation. It's affirming you. Yeah, like, that is so amazing. So nice work just even thinking about this stuff. And it takes courage. Number 5 is a possibility or an opportunity occurs. I would say an opportunity happens. So that's kind of the flip side of a challenge, right? Because challenges in themselves can be opportunities. Yeah. So this might be something that you're just excited about. Maybe it's to work with a new coach. Maybe it's to take a trip now that things are opening up and you've got holiday plans. Maybe it's putting a Thanksgiving turkey on the table and actually having guests over. It could be starting a passion project. It could be taking up a new sport like rowing and setting a big goal, like I'm going to do a race or a triathlon. These are like great things to be thinking about, and they're activating our nervous system because we like them. We're excited, right? So give me a 5 if that is something that you're experiencing right now. Okay, so we've got the 5. You used to love your job, now you loathe it. Number 2 is your boss tells you it's not working out. Number 3 is you have a technology intervention. Number 4 is a challenge, and number 5 is an opportunity. All right, so how are you feeling as you hear these? I'm curious, what is that bringing up for you? And I don't say that to make anyone feel uncomfortable, but that's the thing. If we're not ready to acknowledge it, then we either are avoiding or disconnecting in ways that aren't really serving us. Because then, as I know very well, because it happened to me, we're in denial, and we're not living our best set self. Like, we are setting ourselves up for burnout. We're setting ourselves up for stress, chronic stress, fatigue, depletion, numbing out. Like, you know the list. I don't even need to tell you. I think. Give me a like or a heart if you relate to that. And so, if you even have one of these, so think about what you would have checked off, whether it was in the chat or in your mind, how many of those signs you have right now. Is it 1? Is it 0? Is it 5? It's all good. I know when I had my burnout, I had felt 5. And I didn't know that, again, because I really wasn't aware. And so what my invitation is to just kind of be pausing about this, like being courageously curious. I talk a lot about that in my talks because it takes courage to look at ourselves. And if we're not willing to do that, then we just keep going in the patterns we're in. And you could get a new job, you can move across the country or the world, you could take up a new sport, but the reality is you will still be the same person, and you'll be going into the patterns that got you depleted, burned out, all those 5 signs, etc., on purpose, right? So where am I going with this, right? So where I'm going with this is that I want to help you. Like, I'm here for you and supporting you. And the power of pause that's what it's all about, because there are skills you can learn to change that and get out of those, either learn the skills to pause and build that in as an integrative way of being, right? Being in service to your doing, but also changing your mindset, being more aligned with how you want to be, like your aspirations, so that you can thrive, so that you can do the best things that you want to do, live your best life, have more impact in your busy professional, awesome ways that you can. And so I want to invite you to talk more about this. And so today, my follow-up is to share more with me. I've got limited spots available, but I'm going to put it in the chat. But you can sign up for a 30-minute Pause to Thrive breakthrough session with me. Pause to Thrive breakthrough session. So what is that? So it's a 30-minute, 25-minute, 30-minute call. You and I hop on a call together and we go through what your challenge is right now. Like what sign are you experiencing, and what could be a remedy for you? What pause makes sense for you, and how could you get supported? And that is something that I am very passionate about in my world. And you're not alone. Like, you can totally learn these skills to get out of those signs, because that's the deal. Like, the signs don't stop. And then either you stop, you burn out, and you have to like totally regroup. Maybe you get, I don't want to say this. Yeah, maybe there's an illness that you get, or there's like a really big sign from the universe because you didn't pay attention for the first 1,600 signs, right? Like we don't want to get to that point. So my invitation is to book a call, and you can go to tinyurl.com/pause now. Oops, sorry, that's not the right link. The right link is bit.ly.com. I don't even know what I'm talking about. bit.ly.com/pause now. And I'll put that in the chat because I think the idea is that I only have about 6 slots available, and I'm here to support you. I want you to succeed, and it's not worth humming and hawing over and wasting another day, essentially, to do anything different, or to keep going in the way that you're going, and having those signs just keep adding up, right? Like, who's with me on that? All right, so I put the link into the chat. Hope that came out in the group. And it's bit.ly.com/pause now, and it's my personal calendar. And book some time with me. If we haven't talked, I want to hear from you. If we know each other, but you've never talked to me about this, then I want to hear from you too, because why not get support for what you need support on? And if you have talked to me, but it's been a while, let's connect again. Let's say hello, and I want to hear how things are. I so support your vision of change, because if you're taking action and engaging, that means more is on its way, in a good way for you, just like these rowers here. All right, everybody. So remember, if you're having any one of those signs, it doesn't mean you got to stay there. But if we don't respond or change in the ways that we need to, those signs keep coming, and they keep being louder or stronger. Like, who knows what I'm talking about, right? Like we end up in crisis mode, or we feel like we're just always putting out fires, or we're running around with our heads chopped off because we don't know up from down, and we're just simply living reactively or from a checklist. And that's just not okay, I think. And there's so many better ways to be, but if we're not willing to look at this and change, and it is not necessarily a walk in the park, but it doesn't mean it has to be hard. It can be simply just an acknowledgement and teach, and like learning these things on how to express and feel, so that you can set yourself up for success. And breath work can help with that. Like, there's so many cool things, but the first step is to do something different, right? State change. So that's my invitation, is to give me a call, not give you a call, but give me a call, because I can't call you. I don't know how to get in touch. And I think if you're here just listening and you're resonating with this, awesome, right? You're in the right place. You're so exactly where you need to be. All right, sisters, brothers, thank you so much. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I don't know what you're doing, but how are you pausing this weekend? Just type that in the chat. What are you going to do differently? Or, what brings you joy that you're going to do? I'm not rowing, because I'm not really rowing right now, but I just texted Jessica, my old rowing partner. And I was like, hey, let's row in January in Sarasota. Like, I'm in, because I'm ready to just like go to the next level and everything, whether it's fitness, health, all of that. There you go. And I'm going to go on a bike ride tomorrow with Sarab, my husband. We're going to go to Tiburon because we're just a little bit slow, but we're going to get there. All right, everyone. Have a great weekend. Much love, and I'll see you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.